Hello everyone, this is Mac Plays on Mac and welcome on my channel. On this first video, I would like to introduce myself and explain to you the reason I started this channel. I've been playing this kind of game since SimCity 3000. I've also played SimCity 4, Cities XL, City XXL, SimCities, Transport Fever 1, Transport Fever 2, and finally in 2017 I discovered the amazing City Skyline. And 3,500 hours later, I can tell you one thing guys, is that game was just amazing. So when I heard about City Skyline 2 coming, you can't believe how excited I was. And unfortunately, very soon after the news came, they let us know that the game won't be available on a Mac anymore. Because of my job, I've been required to use Mac since now 2015. So I looked at different ways to be able to play games on Mac, and after a lot of research, I've decided to go with parallel desktop. And on top of this, I also had to invest in a license key for Windows 11. And now I was finally ready to play. So just for your information, I'm currently using a MacBook Pro M1 Max with 32 gigs of RAM. So to get the experience as smooth as possible, I decided to put all of the graphics to the lowest level. I have now played that game for over 170 hours and they have done a lot of fixes and patches through the time. But to be fair, the first time I played the game, it was on release day, and actually I felt like even if everybody was complaining, my performance was actually pretty good, which is very funny because after the first update it got worse and kept going worse until I think update number 6. But anyway, let's start playing. The map I used in this series is very well known. I mean, it's been used by a few YouTubers already, but I do like it a lot because of its multiple islands configuration. So now I'm gonna start by just deleting down all of the road I'm not gonna need for later. I'm only gonna keep that bridge, that's gonna be the main connection to the highway for now. Alright, so now we need to think about what road is gonna go where, the bones of the future city. So I'm gonna build this one as a north-south axis right here, and it will further down connect to the highway via a bridge, and the same on the south. I actually forgot to check out the topography here, but I got very lucky. I went through all of the little hills and it's pretty level right now. I'm still gonna adjust down the way, but right here is where we're gonna connect to the north, and in the future this is the idea for the south connection right there. Now it's time to level and flatten a bit the hills. Let's go to, here we go. Alright, just to make it a bit more construction friendly. So this is not just all like flat, as you can see there are still some little hills. It's not gonna be just boring, okay, just a boring flat. The end goal of this series is to have this island full of high density building, and the industries and the rest will be pushed towards the other islands. Alright, so right now we're gonna work on building that first grid, but nothing is set in stones and literally things are gonna move, okay? This is just ideas that I have about the grid and stuff like this, and depending on the needs, depending on how the city is gonna evolve, roads are gonna change. Some are gonna get widened, some are gonna get deleted to be able to make room for bigger buildings. Alright, so now we're gonna work on the grid. The grid is very important because it's what's going to define what your city is going to look like in the future. So I'm going to work right now on the outside layer of the grid, the arteries. We are basing it on a 256 by 256 meter grid. Alright, so let's build all of the different squares so we can have the main bones, and then we'll work on the inner roads. Here we go. As you can see, I'm trying to make sure that every road is cutting themselves at a perfect exact 90 degree, so I get the maximum amount of cells. Like this game without modes is very hard, very sensitive to how perfect the road intersects each other. And unfortunately, until we can plop the building ourselves, we need to grow them, and that's why I need to have a grid that's as perfect as possible. That's gonna be my one mission. Alright, and now let's build the local roads. You may find that the grid will kinda look like the Manhattan Island grid. I'm loosely basing my idea of the city on Manhattan, so that's why you can see all of these small grids like this. And maybe in the future we might rename them streets and avenue, just like in Manhattan. Okay, let's speed up the process, because I'm sure you don't want to spend 25 minutes watching me building some roads, okay? Because this actually do take a while to build, to make sure that they are perfectly aligned within each other. Like, I don't know why, but City Skyline 2 is so much harder to build perfectly straight. Now the grid is too perfect, so I decided to throw in that diagonally road, just like Broadway in Manhattan, just to make it a bit more interesting. I've been born and raised in France, and France is pretty much the country of the roundabout, and that's actually one of the things here I really don't like when driving in the US is the four-way stops. They just take so long, so you might gonna see me plopping a lot of roundabout now and then, okay? Just bear with me, please. That Broadway style road that I built is likely gonna be a nightmare for the traffic as the city grows, but that's gonna be an issue for later, and we'll see how we're gonna have to fix that. Now let's work on expanding the grid south, so we can go all the way to the edge, and we will see how we're gonna incorporate the coastline within the grid to maximize growable areas. Alright, let's add a few roundabouts here and there, just to make sure that the traffic can flow very smoothly. And as I presumed, it's a nightmare to put traffic on the Broadway street, so I guess we'll have to see how we're gonna figure this one out. Let's grow residential all over here. We're gonna go with the smaller amount of density. It's gonna be single houses, and on the edges of the main street we're just gonna put some commercial area. Here is the transmitter, and we're gonna send a high voltage lane to go through like this, so we can connect to the grid. And we're gonna start with importing our energy to the outside as much as possible at the beginning, and this is gonna be for the water solution. And we got leveled up, so we're gonna buy more tiles. Here we go. And this is for the dirty water, so we are gonna try to get rid of this as soon as possible, because we don't want it to pollute the beautiful coastline of Mike Island. I'm actually gonna zone in a bit of single row houses to just put a bit of density over there, but this is like where the heart of the city is going to be later. And here we're going to build some industries a bit far away from the heart of the city right now, but this industry is going to grow further away. Alright, so let's see how's everything building up. Okay, so here we go, we got the rock mansion. Et voila, our tiny village is becoming a small village. So now it's time to buy up more tiles so we can keep growing our tiny village into something bigger. Citizens are starting to get sick more and more, so we're just building our first medical area, and now we are building up the road so we can have a sanitation system with the landfill over there. And this is actually harder than expected, but we did it. City Skyline 2, sometimes so complicated, but results are very great. I just can't wait for that anarchy mode to be available, please, soon. Alright, now that we are a small village, let's see what development point we can use and unlock. So I'm choosing the parking area because a small city like this needs a lot of parking. Most of the people are going to be driving, and on top of this I'm going to also go with the road tools. Now you're seeing me placing down parking lots a bit everywhere, so mostly around the main roads and where there is a bit higher density of residential, so in case they need more than just the street parking, they have some off-road parking as well here and there, and some larger parking, although the larger parking are not my favorite one because of all of these fences around it. The medium one is actually the best if you want to combine them because they don't have any fences, they go very well together. But placing down big large parking helps me also in the future to reserve this for further development. And now let's put some commercial use around the main Broadway street that we're gonna rename it right now. I don't really like the name of it, and maybe we should find a different name together. We'll see how we'll call it later. So this is gonna be for the not the high school, the regular school, and we are actually gonna upgrade that building. So with this right there, can I actually fit two and this? Yes, I can, but I just need to make sure that the terrain is all leveled before doing anything, because as soon as you put the upgrades on the building, you cannot deassociate them, so you need to delete the whole thing and start over again after. So make sure everything is flat and the way you want it before you do the upgrades on any building. It's too bad that the parking cannot fit here. I guess I'll put just a few ones over there. Yeah, this medium parking just works so well together. Let's adjust a bit the terrain and maybe we'll build a park over there. Alright, now let's build our high school because our small, now large village need a high school. And here we go, and we're gonna build an athletic field because we are now in the US, and every high school in the US has their large stadium in the back, other side. And we are gonna add parking, so when there is big event, because this high school is gonna have an amazing football team, it's gonna have a lot of people going to see the game, so we need to make sure to add a lot of parking lot in the back. And first we need to make sure that the terrain is gonna be good, because we want the parking lot flat as much as possible. And we're still gonna use these medium ones. Again, they just bundle up very well together. And let's finish that road. And I am not the best at this. I actually do hate landscaping, not like the other thing, but landscaping adds so much more realistic vibes to your build. And I just can't wait for prop line tool, because landscaping one by one is very, very hard. All right, let's add up more to the grid on the other side, so the high school is not in the middle of nowhere. And let's try to keep the same roads, even if we cut the grid where the high school was. And now we're gonna have a road that's gonna follow the contour of the river. And bear with me, this next tool is amazing. The complex curve is perfect. You see how you just click there and there? When you have two roads that are not aligned, this will be just the best tool to make a smooth corner. And we're actually gonna reuse that tool just in a few seconds right here. So you see, I'm right there, but I'm gonna click here first, and then I'm gonna click as soon as I get that guideline, and boom, it's gonna get the smoothest road. And here we're gonna do the same right there. It's a bit tighter because I had much less room, but it still works. Alright, now we're gonna add a bit more property here, and this is a big mistake. It does not match at all. So let's build a guideline right there so I can delete down all the way here, and then we're gonna use a simple curve, and we need to reach that guideline and perfect side. Now let's delete what we don't need anymore, and we're gonna build some pedestrian connection to make sure that everything is as connected as possible. Oh wow, Grand Village. Here we go. We are getting bigger and bigger. And let's see what we can have. Treatment plant, yes, so we can get rid of that pollution. And that's for later, that's for later. And roundabout, of course, French guy here. Alright, let's zone everything. Actually, maybe not all of it here. We're just gonna choose how big we want our houses to be here. We're trying to add some complexity. And here's a 4, 2. And here we're just gonna select everything. And that's it right here. Let's zone all of this. Try to make it a bit interesting by not have everything in symmetry, although I do love my symmetry. Here we go, so we make sure that they just grow that big, and we can have the same here. And let's take a look at all of it growing now. Everything is popping out and perfect. Alright, so the fire coverage is very poor. We still do not have a fire station here, so I think this one here located close enough to the main road is very good location. There is no extra building when you upgrade them, so this is perfect location. Now let's try to maximize our cell amount here, so we can have beautiful commercial area by the main road. Alright, let's build that water treatment plant now, so we can get rid of that polluting water outlet over there. So let's delete that right now. Let's delete the pipes. Here we go. We need to go in underground modes. And now let's see. So this can be upgraded, and does it fit perfectly on both sides? So we're gonna start first on the left, and we need to remember later that we can still put an extra one on the other side. Alright, that's perfect. And now let's see, let's add some offices spaces over there. Let's do more here. Let's keep it interesting. Let's vary sizes. And here this parking lot is full. This one, let's put it a bit more expensive, and let's build another parking lot right there. That fits perfectly. Amazing. Here we go. And now let's zone some row housing here and there. And let's put a bit more of commercial zoning right there, right there. And I think that's about it. Now let's take a look at everything we achieved during this build. Thank you everyone for tuning in into the first épisode of Mac Island. This is Mac Plays on Mac et je vous dis à la prochaine fois. Encore merci. Bye bye.